I was watching NA to lead up to this to really, lower my expectations so I could be thrilled when I watched EU, of course. And it's a mad endings over by the apartments near school. Oh, Apocalypse. He's oh, go on.
Oh, that's not good.
And an M16 kill. Oh, oh, it's weird. I don't know what year it is, Rich. But
I saw Tiikzu using it last week as well. It's, we got shotguns, we got 16. What is this?
People are getting a bit fruity. But yeah, we had a mad ending over here. I was watching that as Fiumba were doing very well. They're my new favorite team to say. Big fan of that. I'm going to swing around, but trying to maybe time it so they can hit on in. Again, the actual polar east side of this circle, kind of if you're looking at the road that leads out of Roshok towards a couple of compounds. Excuse me? Oh,
yeah, you've got to be gutted at that.
Right, right. That's reasonable. Fair enough. I mean, this is just something else, isn't it? But that entire, east side is actually still... You can still slot in if you need to. Or you just get barreled out of a vehicle. That's also an option.
Like that ENCE have got across earlier. Not early, but earlier than everyone. Start move, gear up. You sit off the back of a decent kill, then have to go through FaZe where he's pulling right into him. That's not good. That's another run over. Oh my word. Bye, Aitzy. He has no idea what in the world just hit him.
Look at this ending.
That's devastating.
Oh,
circle.
No. This is really good. This is really good. I'm actually starting to grin. I can't help myself.
Question mark?
Honestly, even the hills just a little south of it, ruin side. You've got so much fun terrain over here. I love seeing these teams have to adapt to some really tricky scenarios. Again, it's a little better than it used to be, a little bit more playable. How is Thunder lost here? I don't understand. Get a code. It's the only thing that makes sense right now. It's the top of the screen. Grab it. Pop it in the game because I'm just getting mind blown. Right, so we've got Na'Vi just full send. Slicing just maybe a touch above the southern side. They're going straight towards Liquid. And Dannymon's now going to open fire on example. The last man across, but mxey! He's around the back. He's found Qwizzy. Na'Vi have just pulled up to the opposite side of the map. They have no idea what's here. And this is revenge from earlier. That's what you get for finding Ibi. We'll get all of you. Na'Vi now down, eliminated. The blind send across the map was madness personified. So they can stabilize, get a little upgrades of bits and pieces if they need it. But look at PUBG as well, Rich. We've got so many teams down there now. And you were right to bring up QM. Question mark are slowly working their way in towards Liquid, but their attention got instantly turned. And the state of this is insane. I absolutely love to see this absolute bedlam going down.
The curse of the winner continues. From hero to zero instantly. Na'Vi, they win the previous and they go barreling out in 16th. No less thanks to mxey in a 3 versus 1. Shatters their hopes and dreams for now. Galacticos forced to hit the hillside just below the church, and that's because we got Heroic wandering. Lurking in the back. Have to be careful of TM if they overstep. If they go out of this, they'll hear these shots. Maybe they just... If they've not made their presence known, they can camp this quite easily. They're inside the circle and maybe catch these players they come wandering through. Galacticos drawing away and drawing attention makes things a little bit easier. It brings and lures Heroic into a false sense of security, which could be the time for TM to strike. This is the triple from previous. I don't know if we got all of it. We've only got one of them. Oh my god, the turn. mxey, you absolute animal.
Whew. Not bad. So who do we think's in a really good position here? Because it's actually kind of tough to call. DA, great position, but you are kept somewhat in check by FaZe and ENCE. VP, good position, but if it moves away from there, you're kind of dead. Ruins is now just... The outskirts of this is obviously littered because the center area is quite open, right? So it's like, who actually gets the real big position? I mean, you could say ENCE, but... Again, if they get crept up on, it's so easy to get overwhelmed. Let's see where this goes, because this changes it. All right, VP, Galaxy Brain, BatulinS strikes again. The bathrobe bandit just knows too much. Wow. He knows too much.
How do they do it?
I don't know. Ingenious. And now, do they both cross to one side of the compound? Do they sit in this 2-2? Because that's looking... not necessarily crashable. Liquid going to move into the edge of Watertown. Not a bad shout. It could probably give them a bit of cover. That one kind of standalone compound. There it is. Not bad at all. Slot on in. They'll be happy enough with that. And it's clear. So that's even better. You get a bit of hard cover to play off. But let's look at PUBG. Look at the outskirts here by the church. There are problems aplenty, right? So you've got Tokyo now holding Heroic back. But there's another layer to that. You still have FaZe over there. You're going to have people like DA having vision on this. You're going to have so many teams with eyes on it. VP even piling in some shots as well. You're seeing all the lines, all that tracer fire just coming on by. If they don't have vehicles, they might be screwed here. But hopefully they're all still ready to go. And it looks like Ganimon just caught a glimpse of Questionmark trying to move up there. Big information being relayed, but what do they do with it?
I don't mind him not shooting at this point because he shoots now, they're then pinned back. There's really nothing else for them to do. Galacticos on to VP's compound. You were saying which side were they going to commit to. They got one on the opposing side, and I think that's because they're playing off of SMB's position. VP could do with this clean. They've sent Ono out, excuse me, not sent Ono outside. Ono has gone outside, should I say, to try and get the revive, but ultimately he might be into his grave. He'll bounce it off the vehicle. Thought he was going to try and slip it right between the middle and go for the one on the res.
FaZe pulling up.
Damage it has done.
FaZe
are
crashing
indeed.
the other
They're going
side.
for the hangar. They're actually swinging in the hangar because now no one's watched for it. They've committed one player to the smaller buildings in front, and that's completely open. They've been restricted by this fight.
Yeah, Perfectix was completely focused, obviously, on dealing with what was at the doorstep, but now BatulinS is in trouble. He's got 3 players on the other side, Fex, Fuzzface, and Gustav, 1 in the hangar, 2 in the compound, and then Perfectix is just being barreled in on. Everyone's piling into this. Heroic might get Overwatch 2, SMB, all listening to this happening off there in the hills, just slightly further north. It's not great cover, but it's something. But that compound is now just absolutely littered with bodies, and speaking of bodies, Aduzi's going to make some more! Him and Dante! Incredible work between each other. How are they doing this? I do not know. As Artix is just forced to face the music here. Thrown down. Hope you don't get noted, but you do. Everyone just destroyed in that. DA, a couple of nades coming out here and there, a couple of shots coming through, and everyone's wiped out. Now keep in mind, VP have been losing numbers. FaZe have been a problem to them. Galacticos are still alive. ENCE are under fire. Everyone is in the absolute thick of it right now.
That nade, a little bit too far, but my word. Hall of Gamer in dire straits, losing 2 players off the back. Yuri just and only just recoverable. Gear Up have gone for a deeper side of the circle, totally fine with it. We'll see how it sits them, because a lot of people will be eyes on the prize for any amount of land they can grab in this one. With hard cover being in abundance, that's the only real viable position. They can take the hillside, they can check the small ridges. But apart from that, you've got one compound which Heroic have joined in the fray. And
Of course they have.
Can we just appreciate how many teams are going to die down south? This is ridiculous. Spyro's out on a wing to try and clean this. They need to get rid of Galacticos. They've overstayed their welcome for so damn long. It's cost VP so much time.
They're taking such risks now to clear it. Spyro, you gotta run! Barely alive. Quepta is putting them on their toes, but only SMB and maybe Heroic can see him if he overreaches. And there it is. Picked up in the end, they know that. Now they're still down to 3, keep in mind. FaZe are in front of them, and then beyond that is Heroic, and then beyond that is SMB. There are so many here, but look at what's left for FaZe. I think it's just 2 here, Fuzzface and Fex. So it's not the perfect amount. VP still actually maintain higher numbers, but it's that road cross that could be the death of them. However, we look further afield, up towards the north side. BBL and Vanir. Now, I don't know how much BBL has been given away in this. I see that they've taken a bit of damage, so clearly they've not been too subtle. Exhalation coming around the backside of Vanir. This could be the worst timing possible for them. They were trying to maybe capitalize on BBL's maybe more passive position, but now they've got problems further afield. And actually, Exhalation back in the vehicles. They're going back down south. Where are they going?
I mean, where else can you go? It's what we said once you get into the middle. Like, everything's pretty much gone. You can fully send it, but there's a couple of trees and nothing else bar that. Good nade. Absolutely perfect.
BatulinS just got Beamy as well.
Should probably burn the rest of them. Exhalation going to take the foothills.
They've come back in.
Oh, they're going for the same place Gear Up is. Oh, no, that's bad.
Oh,
this is messy.
they've just... Oh.
However, if Vanir see this could be an easy finish off. Surely.
Yeah, they're moving in. They're taking the high ground.
They
are taking the high ground. You're bang on, Rich. But look what VP have done. How have they done this? How are they doing this? They were across the road. They had like 4 other teams here. They're still alive. They got past the first. They've just knocked Beamy. And they've just leapfrogged above FaZe, basically, at this point. I don't know how they keep getting away with this. I don't get it. They should have been dead so long ago. Quietly waiting, I do want to highlight, ENCE has been very quiet in this. And honestly...
Oh, he's got 2!
Keeping their head down. Yeah, of course he has. Of course BatulinS has. He doesn't feel well. He's having a rough day. That car somehow didn't kill someone. It's a surprise. We don't understand. BatulinS is pushing. The man's just on one. He's on an absolute tear. FaZe and FaZe are still stun-locked in the background. They're still doing nothing, maybe waiting for another team to cross. They don't want to push up yet either. They've put down their smokes. They've got their own problems to deal with. But VP take it into their own hands. Oh, they didn't get the flash through. That's a problem. They're not as blind as they wanted to try and clear through this. BatulinS puts his body on the line. No trade. This is now an issue. Things are starting to fall apart. FaZe are now on the horizon as well. There's the turn. Great pickup. Heroic go down. VP are left with 2, and FaZe are on the way. FaZe on the door. No shotgun this time, just a barrel. Nades coming out, flashes coming out. Now SMB is still the final boss. They're the ones who are in the circle, keep in mind. We're looking at FaZe Clan here on the outskirts, trying to lock in Virtus.pro. But they don't got much too much utility. I don't see any more nades. I see one molly. Helmet's already a little scuffed off. Fuzzface, as if you get away with it. As if you get away with that nade. Do you think he meant to put it up on the ledge? I don't think so. But he still gets it no matter which way you cut it. And now losing all kinds of danger.
The timing on that to be able to clean that. Whether or not he was doing that on purpose, he understood that that was one of the weakest spots, so they had to deny it. And now the pressure really on Lou with standing. Flashbang. Yeah, there's 2 of them. You send them all in. There's nothing they can do about that. But the rest is not yet. They still have to continue. They still have to deal with SMB. And looking at all of this, you've got DA. Flaming and Keanu. 1-2, thank you. BBL is burning downstairs. And they have just been wiping out players on this hillside. And it's all going forward. Let's not forget, they actually missed the opportunity to capitalize on Gear Up. They let them live. Gear Up is still sitting in that gap that, for some unknown reason, they did not push onto. They did not confirm. There was a chance to do it. And they opted to disengage and go for a different team altogether. Maybe because of that.
Might have seen
maybe
why,
because of Team Liquid shooting them at distance and still peppering them. mxey and Jeemzz have a height advantage. It's outside of the circle. It's outside of the safety. But they can sit there for quite some time because no one's behind them and lay waste to these players in front. The smokes are down and FaZe's last stand will begin.
Okay, so Vanir are just pulling up towards Marco. There it is. He's gone. BBL are eliminated. I'm looking at FaZe trying to make the push on this one as well. Fex is fallen, so it's down to just Fuzzface. He's out of there. SMB were the final boss of that southern fight. They're up towards these kind of jagged hills that are just a little north of it. But DA have slotted in quite interestingly. Now, they actually got a line of sight towards ENCE. They're the ones that caused that knock on Rustanmar. So I want to see how this unfolds between the two. You can see ENCE is very vulnerable. They've had to already put up the smoke wall just for that res. They're being very, very cautious with this. And Liquid have started to leave that compound too. They had to. Bear in mind, it's not in the new circle. But they've started to work their way down. DA's positioning and ENCE's is really catching my eye here.
You've got to be gutted for Vanir if somehow Gear Up managed to remove a player or 2 from them. Even a knock would slow them down. That, for me, should have been a clear, but here we are. It doesn't matter. They will still have some utility to throw at this, and they don't have to completely commit to it. They'll have a ever so slight deeper angle. Liquid's trying to make a move, and Liquid's actually on a bit of a barren embankment, sadly. Jeemz's job is to basically give covering fire and disallow ENCE's pressure. ENCE has been gifted this circle.
What a gifter!
And that is, if we think about their position, Lauren, they're basically just boxed in, you know?
Yep.
If the circle's unfavorable and it ends up going towards the center, then lo and behold, it drags away from them. But for now, they have their own little finished bunker that they can play off of and play Overwatch onto every single person on this map. That is an impeccably strong position that ENCE now holds. I want to see them capitalize on this. I want to see... Like, this is just pressure to deny DA movement. But some more knocks. Look towards Liquid. Some more knocks. Everyone that's closer to the circle now, let these teams on the outskirts fight amongst themselves and just weaken their position. Make use of this land you've been given and try and just cause damage to the closer teams.
This is going to be quite telling. I think I want to see how much ENCE are able to capitalize on this. They have been given probably the best position here with that circle. Liquid are in, but you saw how they were being kept alive. It wasn't pretty. But everyone else, I mean, it's smokes and cars and prayers. So here we go. First team to try and lean forward, and Vanir's not far away either. Trying to be as evasive as possible, but you're in the open, you're in a field. It's clib to find it. And there's a little bit of a dip garnered. It ain't much, and I'm pretty sure Tiikzu's going to have vision on that. Yo, it's Jeemzz! With a huge nade, bombardment comes in, and just one, and it's gone. Liquid are fighting this one out. They wanted that space, they take that space, but Vard just got Tiikzu.
Oh.
Now there is a trade, but it's not on DA, that's on SMB. DA could use this as a chance. I don't know if they're going for that risky play. They're in a vehicle, Diggory's found Vard. Okay, they've had to do... Wait, you're right. Liquid are now moving. ENCE are completely focused on DA, and look who's behind them. It's Team Liquid, taking the spot away from ENCE. Unbelievable moves from Liquid here. This is the perfect timing to strike. They are fighting this one out with everything they have. But it's still a 3v2. ENCE still have 2 players, but DA are now on the other side. DA have dealt with SMB, so now they can turn their attention back to what's going on. But look at where Jeemzz is as well. They put mxey and clib together as a duo, a dastardly duo. Jeemzz peppering in fire from further afield, keeping DA off the doorstep. This is incredible stuff, but Rustanmar and Diggory, these boys have been on one. ENCE have elevated recently. They have certainly gotten better. No helmet on clib as well. 3'd up on vest, but gear-wise, could be vulnerable.
Yeah, the helmet's a real kicker. I love the anchor position that Jeemzz is playing to try and deny more land movement from DA, so his 2 teammates can deal with the situation at hand. I mean, DA can play a real spoiler to this. Let's not take anything away from this roster whatsoever. Scofield's still in the mix of it. No one knows about his position at the moment. He's hidden behind a dead car. Pan goes over. If it hits somebody, I'd be impressed.
I mean, at this point, Liquid hold 80% of this circle. If they can just live and keep ENCE forced on this side, they should eventually force DA and ENCE to face, right? Like, maybe Schofield can be a problem. Maybe, but they're just trying to herd the others to make them take each other out. They want to be that last team to the party. Oh, Jeemzz, careful now, you've been noted.
He has to
Jembty now knows where he is.
He's not inside, like, he can't stay there. I mean, he could probably move a vehicle forward, but he does have to come forward, and that could be the...
But so
the
does
symbol
DA.
that DA needs to be able to, like, okay, he doesn't have our angle now. Maybe we can do something different. If Jeemzz goes down, things really change up. But it could be the domino effect. It could say, okay, well, that's clear now. Let's wander around. Then Schofield strikes. Jimbo's doing everything to get back with the head of the pack and tackle this problem, this situation, head on. He does have a vehicle. The smokes are there. Blast through those. Get back to Liquid. And refortify the ranks. This is an interesting one. We got some really, really banging players here.
Yeah, we have some absolute veterans as well. Schofield, not one of the veterans, but certainly see how he handles this scenario. A tricky one, and actually a problem for the other side. DA overstep. They overcommit, and Schofield shows his hand. And now this is where problems begin. Schofield's HP is so good! And look at this man go! One more shot! He gets some help for the backlines. He does go down to the car! Oh, a valiant attempt, but now we look further afield. This is the breaking point. This is the last straw that breaks the camel's back. And look, Clib's been knocked, but quickly Jeemzz has moved up. It's not just mxey on his own. It's going to be a 2v2. Rustanmar and Diggory up against Jeemzz and mxey. Rustanmar to the left, Diggory to the right. One smoke on mxey. He spots him out! Just absolutely annihilation, as now Diggory presented a 1v2. To save ENCE, they had it all. They had the kingdom in front of them. And Liquid, like thieves in the night, have stolen it away from them. But now, Diggory, what can you do to try and turn this tail? mxey just on the other side. Diggory trying to get that first pixel. Maybe a headshot would be key, but he's not being presented one. Flash in hand with Jeemzz. This could be go time. There's the flash. Here's the push. They're moving up, and this Jeemzz is not sitting back by any means. He's pushing up. He's got the frag. And